Hello spooky people and welcome to In the Maw of Thanatos. I'm Mike and it's Christmas! It's time to celebrate, overindulge and spend time with loved ones. So of course it's the perfect season to discuss a bloody descent into hell. This episode I'll be looking at Baskin. Sorry, it's not a Christmas movie, I probably screwed up the algorithm, but oh well. Our not-so-festive tale begins in the 90s, I think, based on all of the toys and the game of nostalgia spotting that I ended up playing. Oh, I think I had one of those! A kid wakes up to the sound of his mother, well, you know, getting out of bed. He listens at her door for a moment before the house falls deathly silent. As he goes to open the door, the stillness is broken when the TV bursts into life, static blaring. As the kid goes to investigate, the TV switches off and a red light begins emanating from his bedroom. He freaks out and runs for his mum, and a mysterious hand reaches out to grab him. And then the door slams closed. After the title card, we are taken to a diner, and it's here that we're introduced to our heroes with a photograph. You'll see why I can't really say heroes without any real conviction very soon. But first we see a strange cloaked figure delivering a bucket of meat. Spooky and sanitary. When I actually first watched Baskin, I actually thought the contents of the bucket was the kid from the beginning. Don't ask me what's wrong with my mind. Moving on, we finally meet our hellbound motley crew. We work our way around the group as they place bets on the football. That's soccer for you Yanks. Well, except for Siffy, who sits alone with a headache. The bet's placed, the conversation moves on to sex. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they talk about. Mostly. Because Daddy YouTube definitely won't like a large part of the discussion.
Bak, asıl mesele tavuğu sikmek değil oğlum. Asıl mesele onu yakalamakta. Şefim, senin ilk sefer neydi? Küçük baş mı, büyük baş mı? Fil amına koy, fil. Ben fil siktim ilk seferinde. Salak salak konu.
Apo, Remzi and Arda listen as Yavuz tells them the story of the time he slept with a transvestite.
Neyse sonra abi ben bir dokunayım dedim ya şuna. Böyle bir heveslendim. Abi bir attım elimi. Ulan kocaman bir malafat.
The server comes over and laughs with them.
Hayırdır genç sen niye gülüyorsun?
This doesn't go down too well with Yavuz, who starts running his mouth, with obviously no intention of doing anything, until Remzi calls him out and takes his gun from him. Oh yeah, I probably should have mentioned this, but our protagonists are actually police officers. At this point, Siffy goes off to throw up. As he's staring at a random frog in the bathroom, the kid in the diner escalates things by insulting Yavuz. And they fight! The kid gets pwned. The fight is interrupted when Siffy sees the hooded figure in the bathroom mirror and screams. His teammates abandon the fight and try to break into the bathroom. The film then jumps to Yafuz and Arda having a smoke, and it's decided that Siffy had a panic attack because he was alone in the bathroom. The crew drive off and we see that the meat is now burned. What a waste. Wait a minute, didn't I think that was Tiny Human originally? As they drive along, they switch on the radio and have a sing-along to a belter of a song. Tune! Maybe don't read the subtitles if you don't speak Turkish. Apo receives a call for backup and they share stories about the location that they've been summoned to. Sounds spooky. Soon after, the radio stops working and a naked dude runs across the road in front of them. They stop and try to find him, but instead discover a shit ton of frogs. Something slams into the side of the van, leaving scratches, but no sign of what actually did it. More spooky. Rightly creeped out, they pile back into the van and leave. Siffy, distracted by the argument that's going in the back about what just happened, collides with someone in the middle of the road, and then crashes into a river. Then we're back in the diner, and the guys are sitting watching TV and generally having a good time. Meanwhile, Ada and Ramsey have a chat about what happened to Ada as a child.
Birden kesiliyor. Sanki içeridekiler yok olmuş gibi. Ama salona bakıyorum. Televizyon açık. Görünce adamda biri var. Harbi hissediyorum.
He was the kid from the beginning. He didn't end up in the bucket. At least, I don't think he did. Things get a bit trippy as the hooded man appears again and water begins to pour into the diner. Ada falls back in his chair and into deep, dark waters. Anyone with thalassophobia? Giant hands reach down and pull Ada to the safety of the riverbank. The group staggers back to the road and meet a strange bunch of people sat around a campfire with a bucket of frogs. They ask the police to stay, who refuse when they find out that the location of the call for backup is nearby. They do a cursory search for the person that they hit, but there's no sign of them. As they leave, a little girl who's sitting with the mysterious people says something in French. I don't know, they didn't subtitle it, and I don't speak French. So if you know what she says, then pop it down in the comments. Shortly, they arrive at the building and find an abandoned police car and the place deserted. All around the place are creepy trinkets, and as they enter, they find even more. Exploring the building, they find another officer banging his head against a wall. He's uncommunicative, and the team decide to split up, with Siffy taking him back to the police car, and the others opting to search for survivors. They find a staircase that goes down, and they descend into the depths. And that is when shit gets crazy. Baskin was released in 2015. It was written by Can Evrenol, who also directed, and it was his first feature film. Ogulkan Eren Akay, Erzin Sadikoglu, and Kem Uzuduru also co-wrote. Sorry. Evrenol has directed a few things since, notably Housewife and Girl with No Mouth, which are just two that piqued my interest. The film is well shot and the script is pretty good. When it starts off, the characters are set up as unlikable, but as things go south, you do end up feeling quite sorry for them. The twist at the end is unfortunately a little played out, and seriously, if you do decide to watch this, do not read the synopsis, because they tell you right up front what's going on and basically what the twist is. Otherwise, it's a fun little film that doesn't spoon feed you with explanations. You have to kind of put the pieces together yourself, which is a better way to tell a story in my opinion. The movie was made for $350,000 and made around about $318,000 worldwide. So the film actually made a loss, which is a shame, and is probably a first for the films that I've reviewed so far on this channel. And I'd totally recommend it over some of those.
It was like they were doing something with this black stuff that was coming out of the founder's bust. It was like black magic or sorcery or something.
There was some stress during the production because they didn't have the required permits when shooting some scenes for the film. This resulted in worrying that the authorities would find them filming in certain locations. Also, they shot some of the nude scenes in the most conservative areas of the region, but not as conservative as YouTube. And the concerns of being discovered added yet more stress to proceedings. The acting was pretty top-notch across the board. I wouldn't say there is any one standout performance, except maybe the father, or Baba, played by Mehmet Serahoglu. I don't know if I got that right, who is sinister and imposing without hamming it up or playing a pantomime villain. which will be so easy to do when playing the leader of a satanic cult. Oh yeah, there's a satanic cult. Spoilers. Overall, the story is good. It doesn't hold your hand and tell you what's going on. There's plenty of foreshadowing, subtle and otherwise, and as they descend into the hell that awaits them, some things are shockingly accurate. The special effects are top notch, it doesn't shy away from the gore, and the vomit is the most realistic I've seen in a long time. The film isn't afraid to show you what the cult does to the main characters. It isn't scared to get weird, and it does get pretty weird in places. Finally, love that end credit track. So then, would I recommend Baskin? Yeah, it isn't going to be to everyone's taste, but it's well made and I enjoyed it. Is it a little slow to get started? Maybe, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Does it explain everything? As I've already said, no, and it gets a tad trippy at times. So if you don't mind subtitles, have a little patience, and like a little gore with your weirdness, definitely give it a go. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider liking and subscribing. Oh, and if you know what the little girl says, then comment down below please, because I feel like it might be important. I don't know. Remember to stay safe, stay weird, and most importantly, stay spooky. Thank you for watching. Bye bye! What? No joke at the end? Seriously? Oh, I must be slipping. I've got nothing. And I'm not going to start reading off jokes because, one, I've already done it, and two, it was cringy as all hell. So, yeah, I suppose you're just going to have to leave this video with no joke. One thing, I didn't say great in this video. Except for just then. Shit.